there we go. Got a little glitch in the opening titles there, as everybody always says. They're always a little bit too long, but never mind. It's the old git here, aka Mike Hall, with another one of my rants. But this is not just a rant. This particular video is something of a warning. Now, in a lot of my past videos, I've spoken about certain people, certain things, certain situations, and they have all come to pass, and I can prove it. Just go back and look at some of my videos. All my socials are on the bottom there, bestbeforetv.com. That's 24 hours a day television, and Best Before TV. Oh, sorry, X is Best Before T, and bestbeforetv@gmail.com if you want to get in touch. Now, the persons I talk about today could have a great impact on everybody's life in the UK. And I'm asking the question, who is Andy Burnham? Well, it's the man next to me there in that graphic. I'm an idiot, a clown. Is he? Well, let's see if we can prove what I've put up there. So, who is Andy Burnham? Andy Burnham's political career focused on failures. And let's just span his time at Westminster cabinet as a cabinet minister, his two unsuccessful bids for a Labour Party leadership, and there are specific controversies during his tenure as the Mayor of Greater Manchester. Okay, so first of all, let's go through some of these controversial things that have seemed that a lot of people don't know who Andy Burnham is, but I'm going to tell you, and then you can make up your own mind. So let's first talk about Mid-Staff's hospital scandal. Yes. Now, as he was Health Secretary from 2009 to 2010, and Burnham faced severe criticism regarding his response to the Stafford Hospital scandal. Opponents accused him of failing too quickly to sort of grasp the scale of the systemic failures and access deaths that occurred in the NHS, in that particular trust. He seemed not to bother, but we're going to go through them, and I'll stay on some longer than others. So we'll mention that again later on in this video. But next, what else? Well, again, you could read through all that, but the opponents often point out to his 2003 vote in favour of the Iraq War while serving as a backbench MP. Burnham has since publicly called it the worst experience of his parliamentary career. Okay, so you get the picture. This man seems to make the wrong decisions. We've only a couple of minutes into this video, and you can see already. And these are big decisions that he was making, and basically he seems to make the wrong decisions. Now, moving on. Now, his failed leadership campaigns. Burnham ran for leader of the Labour Party twice, in 2010 and 2015, failing both times. Poor man. And he basically, let's go into that, okay? Here he is. I'd just like to put these graphics up, Those are my principles, and if you don't like them, well, I have others. And Champagne Supernova, well, he's a champagne socialist. But is he? Let's carry on and we'll see. Andy Burnham's 2010 Labour Party leadership bid failed primarily because his campaign lacked financial backing, so they say. Institutional momentum and heavyweight profile needed to compete against the dominant Miliband brothers, and In fact, Burnham then he finished fourth in the contest with just 8.68 of the vote. So there's his first failure at trying to be the party leader. So he's always had ambitions to be the PM. Is it above his station? Again, at the end of this video, you can make your minds up. In 2015, his 2015 defeat to Jeremy Corbyn was largely attributed to a perception of a political flip-flopping. That's where Starmer caught it from. Flip-flopping Burnham, flip-flopping Starmer. After he failed to take a decisive stance against a controversial Conservative welfare bill. So, slowly you'll get the picture of this man. Now, he's had many criticisms and failures since he left the Westminster and sort of became the Lord Mayor, as we say here in Spain, the alcalde of Manchester. There's many criticisms of him, which you probably don't know about, or you may know about, of which there were many. Just keep in mind there are others apart from the ones I'm going to tell you about. These are just a few. We haven't got all day to sit here talking about this man. Greater Manchester Police failings. Now, this one, on there, I've just put a graphic up there that talks about some of the other of his failures. You can read that or listen to me if you want to. But the inspectors placed Greater Manchester Police in special measures, citing serious concerns, or serious cause for concern, to proper records of 80,000 crimes. I mean, one failure, failing to record crimes and prematurely closing cases. Number 2, for example, failing to protect vulnerable victims. Let's move on to the vulnerable victims, because this one is the one that I think he should hang his name or hang his head in shame. The grooming gang investigation. Now, independent reviews revealed that borderline incompetence handling of the child sexual exploitation and grooming gangs in the boroughs like Rochdale and Oldham, where police repeatedly failed to shield young victims in custody and treatment of women. Greater Manchester Police faced severe criticism over its treatment of women in as a whole in the custody, and including allegations of an insensitive and uncaring institutional culture. Andy Burnham, that's under your watch. You were the mayor of Manchester. You should have been well up on this. And later you apologised for your misgivings. But you still stayed in office, didn't you? You really did. And other failures, for example, I mean, I don't want to go right into all of them. But other failures under his tenure as the mayor of Manchester. Defective IT and intel systems, which he approved. Flawed leaderships and toxic culture within the council and other entities that he was supposed to be overcharged or in looking after. His political opponents at that time demanded Burnham's resignation, given his oversight as role as mayor. Now, he didn't resign. He rode it out and he stayed as mayor of Manchester, and he kept on making more and more mistakes. For example, we talk about Burnham's £100 million clean air zone waste, which sparks fury amongst taxpayers. Now, his handling of the Manchester proposed ultra low emission zone, ULEZ style, like they have in London, style scheme, as it was a financial waste of time. The local authority reported that they spent £100 million in preparation and camera infrastructure for the policy that Burnham was ultimately forced to scrap following a heavy backlash. £100 million gone. There you go. That's your man. Another one of his failings. So he's not doing too well. King of the North, are you sure? I'm sure that lots of people where he was up until a week ago, I think, the current mayor. Let's go on, shall we? Now, currently, that's now, his resignation. Now, that's been controversial on its own, because he was breaking the mayoral problem that he made. After he declared his intention to step down early as mayor to contest a parliamentary by-election in Makerfield. Now, Makerfield, I think, has been a stronghold for Labour, but I don't think that this man will be accepted very well. He's let everybody down. His critics accused him of prioritising personal ambition over public duty. Of course, he only wants Makerfield because he thinks it's a safe seat, so he can bounce himself into the seat of Keir Starmer. But there's a big twist in the tale, and there's something at the end of this video that should make you think about this failure who wants to be the saviour. But let's go on. Detractors argue he is breaking his explicit promise to Greater Manchester voters to serve out his full term until 2028. Now, he obviously sees Makerfield as an easy touch. Back in Parliament, sidelining his critics over his bad record in Manchester. It's not that good, and I've heard people, they say, oh, the King of the North. Well, he's not. To me, he's Angela Rayner. He's the male version of Angela Rayner. And don't do what I do what I say. He's like that. But here's the sting in the tail. The country and the electorate of Makerfields are being duped. They are totally being duped by this man. I've always maintained, now this is where it gets interesting, and I think this is why it's worth watching this particular video. I've always maintained that the Fabian Society are behind Starmer and his Labour Party, and it's absolutely true that they are. Considering that about 2/3 of the Labour MPs in government right now are Fabians. Some are high-ranked in the Fabian organisation. And there's just a few. I think David Lammy just joined because he thought it was a drinking club or an eating club. I don't know. But you see, 2/3. Remember the words on there. It says wolf in sheep's clothing. That was the Fabian Society's logo up until fairly recent. So, if you know anything about the Fabian Society, well, you'll understand. If you don't. Now, critics of the Fabian Society argue that this is its gradualist approach to democratic socialism. It undermines traditional democratic safeguards and national sovereignty. Many claim the ideology concentrates excessive power in the hands of the elite technocrats. And who are they? They're the politicians. The elite technocrats. That's what they would call us. Ultimately, eroding your individual liberties and free market autonomy. In other words, like George Orwell did say, Big Brother is watching you. Now, George Orwell was actually one of the members of the Fabian Society, but he left because the takeover for him was too slow. The way they do is they get people of power, well, people into places of power, and gradually change the democracy into their ideology that they want, which is basically happening. And of course, our friend, where are we going? That's turned. No, I wanted to show you that the walls are secret. No, 10. The Fabian side lied its way into power, and it's now attacking people. I mean, that's just a picture again, another of a few. But Starmer, what's he done? Keir Starmer is undermining the will of the British people. He's doing it with this ideology. He says he's a globalist. He's a globalist because he believes the whole world should be under this elite technocratic society, which is probably worse than communism. Starmer's done his job. The country now is in turmoil. Freedom of speech gone. Two-tier policing. Destabilised our culture with undocumented illegal migrants, disregarding high crime and leading the country into financial ruin. Ruining our relationship with our greatest ally, USA. I mean, he's basically doing the job of destroying everything, and that's what they want to do, destroy everything we have and build their ideology. And he's done a good job on that, hasn't he? Just look back over 2 years of sheer hell. Look where we are now. Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, no, because our saviour is coming in the form of Andy Burnham. Is that true? He's going to parachute into Makerfield and take over and then drop them like a hot stone and get himself down to Downing Street. Now, I'm afraid he's been parachuted into the so-called safe seat of Makerfield and then bounced, as I said, into number 10, getting rid of the naughty man Starmer. Wrong. Totally wrong. Because Starmer has done his job and you people out there have been duped totally, because we'll get rid of that Starmer and we'll bring this nice man Andy Burnham in, yeah? And only this week, Rachel Thieves, the Chancellor, we're going to make it easy for you to go to theme parks until September, and we're going to give, children cheap meals, 5% VAT. It's like we're going to give candy to the kids, like we're all a bunch of kids. We'll give you some nice little things. You don't realise you still got to pay your mortgage, get your petrol, your power is the highest in the world probably. We'll give them, because they treat you like children, because that's their attitude. They think that if they give you little bits and pieces, you're going to vote for them. But it's not like that, okay? Because something you probably didn't know, and I'm showing you this again, the wolf in sheep's clothing, the Fabian Society's logo. Why am I showing it you now? Well, Andy Burnham follows the exact philosophy as Starmer and his fellow Fabians. Phase 2 would very soon start, evolve more of the same in a different name. In other words, you think you've got rid of Starmer and his bad decisions. Burnham is just the other side of the coin. His ideology is the same. How do you know he's a Fabian? Well, I can prove he is, or I can prove that he sympathises with them at the very least. But he's a Fabian. He contributes to their literature, as do many other leading Labour ministers. And, here we go, have a look. This is a pamphlet put out by the Fabian Society. Labour leadership, he says, how important is that party has a distinctive ideology. Yes. Now, with essays by Diane Abbott, well, that could be a good read. I think that's a comedy part. Ed Balls, and look at that, Andy Burnham, David Miliband, and Edmund. That pamphlet went out in 2010. You can actually go online and find it, Fabian Society, and look for it in 2010, and you can read it. It's too boring for me. I didn't want to read it. But hang on, Andy Burnham follows the same ideology as all the rest of them. Now, do you get the picture? Huh? Just another sidetrack to make you think they're working for you. And I'm warning you now, vote the wrong way and the UK will come one step closer to losing its total identity. George Orwell, as I said, was once a member of the Fabians. He left because he thought the takeover was taking too long and it was too slow. One thing is pointed about the situation, and I'm going to quote a line from the book 1984, which he wrote, obviously, George Orwell. Think about this line, and this is where it came from. Big Brother is watching you. Think on. Well, hopefully I've enlightened you. Hopefully you will not allow this man to bounce himself into number 10 Downing Street. Hopefully you won't. He's a snake oil salesman, as a Starmer, as of 2/3 or more of the Labour Party. They want to control you totally. Digital IDs, all the things that you don't want, they want you to have. Okay? So, hopefully I haven't kept you too long. All I'm saying is, in June, when the by-election is, you've got the choice. I know who I would vote for straight away. You have to make up your own mind. But my vote would never, ever go to another Fabian, ideologically insane person like Andy Burnham. His record from the past, the things I've read out quickly and briefly to you in regards to he didn't care about the victims of the grooming gangs. He walked away from that. He's many for £100 million cancelled ULEZ. He is the epitome of a wolf in sheep's clothing. And Makerfield, I'll feel very sorry if you get a parliamentarian or your MP who doesn't give two jots about you. You are just his springboard. That's the old get finished for today. Hopefully, I do care what happens. I do really hate the fact that this man could end up as the MP for Makersfield. I hope he doesn't. All I'm saying is, be careful. Vote the right way and make sure that Labour have to leave government, because if they don't, well, I can't imagine what England will be like at the end of their tenure. Alright, that's me done for today. Seriously though, folks, before I go, just say I do this all on my own. That's it. You might hear cars going up and down. I've got the windows open today because it's just over 25 degrees here. Wonderful. You might hear the odd car going up and down, but that just shows you. I do it all myself. I need some new equipment, so if you want to donate anything, go to Rumble. Listen to me on Rumble. I've got nearly 700,000, not just under 700,000 views on that, and I'm looking to buy a bit more equipment to make it easy on this old man who works totally on his own. But my brain still works. My mouth gets stuttery sometimes, but this works. And I've been on this earth for 72 years, and I've never seen such a decline in Britain than I have in the last 2 years. So quickly, so fast, it's all happened. And you, the only people, can stop it by your votes. All right, enough is enough. I'm out of here. Stay safe, be good. Until the next time, what do we say? Goodbye.